speak to us of Mary. I think the name itself, Mary, comes from mare, the sea. And sometimes we refer to Mary as Stella Maris, the star of the sea, the light, leading us to Christ all the time. Behold my son, leading the sailors home. Anyway, Mary. The name Miriam is the same name, by the way. Moses' sister was called Miriam. And she was the one who led the women in a dance when they passed through the Red Sea. And the waters of the Red Sea flowed back over Pharaoh and his armies. And Miriam, with tambourines, is leading the women in a dance. And they're singing a hymn, the hymn of Moses. Horse and rider, he is drowned in the depths of the sea. But his people, he led out. An interesting place, Mary plays in that. She's rejoicing. You'll find a reference in the book of Revelation to the heavenly Jerusalem, that the followers of the Lamb were singing the hymn of Moses and the hymn of the Lamb as the people moved into the heavenly Holy Land. So Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? Who is she? In time and history now, she is the Mother of God, not the Mother of God, period, because God always was, always will be. God is a Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but in time and history, she's the Mother of God. When we talk about the Trinity, you can see the Trinity revealed in the first line of the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Now, I realize for whatever reason, our Jewish brothers around the world can't see the Trinity here, and I realize the Muslims can't see it either. But it's plainer than the nose on my face that the Trinity, the one God and the three persons, you'll find it here in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. And here it is. In the beginning, at the time of the Alpha, the beginning, in the beginning, God, Abba, created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was a wasteland, and there was darkness upon the face of the deep. So we have no problem with that. God the Father created. And the earth was a wasteland, there was darkness upon the face of the deep. But now listen carefully. And then the Spirit of God moved over the darkness. You can see an eagle, for instance, hovering over its nests and flapping his wings to incite the nestlings to come forth and fly. At the Pentecost experience, a sound like a mighty wind filled the place where they were, seemed like a mighty wind, and tongues seemed like fire. The Spirit of God. And you see it in Genesis. The Spirit of God moved over the darkness. Like again, the priest's hands at Mass moves over the bread and wine. The Spirit of God moved over the darkness, the Ruach Elohim. And then God said, there's the third person of the Blessed Trinity, the Word. God said, let there be light, and the light was made. You'll notice later in time in history, in the Gospel of John, John doesn't start the story of Jesus with Adam and Eve. He starts it with the Trinity. From Genesis, of all places, listen to it just gently in your soul. In the beginning was the Word. What does that mean? The Word. The Word of who? In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God. So we got two people here. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. So the Father is God, and the Word is God. He was with God in the beginning. He was with God in the beginning, God the Father. Through him all things came to be. Not one thing had its being but through him. All that came to be had life in him, and the life was the light of men, a light that shines in the dark, a light that darkness could not overpower. So anyway, back to Mary here. Um, she's the mother of God in time and history. And time in history now would be the year 1, 2024 years ago. That's what we're talking about, time 1. And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a virgin betrothed to a man named Joseph of the house of David. Again, betrothed means married to. Betrothal had the same binding force as marriage. Of the house of David. The Messiah would come from the line of David. And coming to her, he said, "Hail, full of grace. Hail, full of God. Hail, full of the Trinity." How can a virgin girl in the 1st century of the modern era be full of the Trinity? So anyway, coming to her, he said, "Hail, full of grace. Hail, full of God. Hail, full of the Trinity. The Lord is with you." The Lord, the same Lord who was with God in the beginning. The Word. The Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women. And she's the equivalent of Miriam, who's with Moses. And Mary is deeply troubled by the greeting, wondering what it meant. And the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary." It was the angel Gabriel. And the name Gabriel means the power of God, the power of El, the power of the Holy One. The angel Gabriel, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You will conceive and bear in your womb the Word made flesh." Again, the Word who was in the beginning. Mary is the mother of God in time and history. So anyway, she's disturbed by the greeting, wondering what it meant. You have been chosen, Mary, by the Father before the world began, to give birth to his son. And she says, "I'm a virgin. How is this possible?" And the angel answers, "Watch the Trinity. The Holy Spirit will come upon you, who was with God in the beginning. The power of the Most High God, the one who created the heavens and the earth and all that is in them, will overshadow you. And you will conceive and bear a son, and great will be his dignity. And he would rule over the house of David forever." And again, conceive a son. Who's the son? The Word made flesh. And the Word took flesh in her womb. And he dwelt among us. What intrigues me the most as this Christmas time is a passage that began to work on my mind a couple of months ago, where Philip said to Jesus, "Show us the Father. That'll be enough for us." And Jesus says to him, Philip, how long do I have to be with you? Whoever sees me sees the Father. Whoever sees me sees the Father." Like, you look up at the cross and there's a man suffocating. Whoever sees the crucified Christ sees the Father. It gets heavier than that. We are transported to Bethlehem of Judea. Bethlehem means the house of bread. And we're with the wise men from the east, Casper, Melchior, and Belshazzar. And we have gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh for the newborn King of the Jews. And And we look into the crib and we see a baby. Whoever sees me sees the Father. What extraordinary stuff here. I shouldn't be using the word stuff. And then you have that last of the miracles. Bear in mind here now, your fathers eat the man in the wilderness, but they died nonetheless. Whoever eats the bread that Christ will give us will live forever. And you saw what he did at the Last Supper. He took bread, said the blessing, broke the bread, gave it to his disciples and said, "Take this, all of you, and eat it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you." And we're looking at the bread in Jesus' hands, and it is now God. Whoever sees me sees the Father. Looking at a piece of bread, what appears to be bread. So it goes on like that, this mystery of mysteries. So anyway, Mary is the mother of God in time and history. There was a man in our parish years ago, and he was an honest man, and his wife was Catholic, and he was, I'd say, an honest Protestant Bible studier. And he says to me, "Father," he says, I can't get this whole thing about Mary being the mother of God. I mean, I just can't get it." So gently I said to him, "Mary was the mother of God in time and history." "Oh my God," he said. "Oh my God." So, but he came over in time and history. Obviously, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit was and is and forever will be before the universe was created. But in time and history, he took flesh in the womb of a virgin. And now the last part, if you're able for it again, I'm doing it until you're fed up of it, or maybe know it off the heart. So you're looking at me now at this moment. Here's the message. You have been chosen by God, by the Trinity, by the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, by the God who walked with Adam in the cool of the evening, by the God who closed the door of the ark on Noah and his family, by the God who gave the law to Moses on Mount Sinai, the God who fed his people with manna in the wilderness, the God who died on the cross. You have been chosen by this God to be holy, to be blameless in his sight, to be full of love. And so how is it possible? Do you see what we're doing? We're doing what Mary did. How is it possible? I'm a virgin girl. I'm going to conceive the Trinity. I'm going to conceive God. And the answer is the same for Mary as it is for us. The Holy Spirit will come upon us, we who ask, who want to be made holy. The Holy Spirit will come upon us. The power of the Most High will overshadow us. And we will no longer live, but Christ will live in us. Now, I have a feeling it's going to take a lifetime. Like, I know that the Trinity has been working on me. I'm in my late 70s, and he's shaping me and molding me. And yet my experience of daily life is I'm just another poor slob going from one job to another every day. And I'm the last person who sees the Trinity dwelling in me. And yet this is our faith, that the Trinity, it's almost like, my body, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, like a baker, making bread. It's kind of that. The Trinity is working on us and shaping us and molding us. And the more he, the funny part is that the more that you become like Christ and the Trinity, the less you'll see it in yourself. one of those strange mysteries.